Hey friend, welcome back to Mentor's Mindset. Today, we want to talk about something that feels invisible, but it shapes so much of who we are. We're diving into childhood trauma and abuse that follows you into adulthood. Now, I know trauma is a heavy word. When people hear it, they think about big events, abuse, violence, maybe tragic accidents, but trauma can also be quiet. It can be the emotional scars left by things that didn't happen, the love you didn't receive, the validation you craved but never got, the words that tore you down instead of lifting you up. Let me ask you a few questions. Do you ever feel like you're too much for people? Like you have to shrink yourself? Do you find yourself in relationships where you feel like you're walking on eggshells or giving way more than you get? Or do you struggle with a voice in your head that's always whispering you're not enough? If any of that resonates, you might be carrying emotional wounds from childhood. And those wounds don't just vanish when we grow up. They come with us into our friendships, relationships, careers, even into the way we talk to ourselves. But here's the good news. This doesn't have to be where your story ends. Today, we're unpacking how childhood emotional and verbal abuse shows up in adulthood. And I'll give you concrete steps to begin healing. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's have this conversation. So, what is emotional or verbal abuse in childhood? It's not always yelling or name-calling. Sometimes it's more subtle, but just as damaging. Here are some examples. Constant criticism. Maybe you were told you weren't smart enough, pretty enough, athletic enough, minimizing your feelings. Ever heard, "Stop crying, it's not a big deal," or "You're too sensitive"? Emotional neglect. No one listened when you needed comfort or support. Love felt conditional. You were only praised when you achieved something, or when you hid parts of yourself to fit in. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine you're a young plant. You need sunlight, water, nurturing to grow. But what if you're kept in the dark? What if you're overwatered with harsh words or starved of kindness? You might still grow, but twisted, stunted, or with parts of you closed off. That's what emotional neglect or verbal abuse does to the developing child. It teaches you how to see yourself and what to expect from others. Okay, so how does this childhood trauma follow us into adulthood? Let's break it down into three major areas: relationships, self-worth, and mental health. Let's start with relationships. Do you over-apologize even when you've done nothing wrong? Do you fear abandonment, so you hold on tightly even when someone isn't treating you right? Or maybe you push people away before they can hurt you because trusting feels dangerous. Why does this happen? Because as children we learned survival strategies. If love meant pleasing people, you became a people pleaser. If love meant staying quiet to avoid conflict, you learned to suppress your voice. But as adults, those survival strategies can backfire. They keep us in relationships that feel one-sided or lonely. Here's a real-world example. You meet someone emotionally unavailable. Instead of recognizing that as unhealthy, you feel drawn to it because it mirrors the love you learned as a child, love that felt just out of reach. Now let's talk about self-worth. Do you feel like an imposter at work, downplay your achievements, criticize yourself more than anyone else ever could? That's not because you're lacking, it's because those old messages got wired into your brain. Think of your brain like a record player. If someone told you over and over, "You're not good enough," that track plays on repeat, long after the person's gone. And lastly, mental health. Unresolved trauma can look like anxiety, that constant hum of worry. Depression, feeling hopeless, disconnected, numb, perfectionism, the desperate need to get everything right because mistakes weren't allowed in childhood. It's exhausting, isn't it? But here's the thing. These aren't personality flaws, they're coping mechanisms, your brain's way of trying to protect you. Let's talk science for a minute. Our brains are neuroplastic, meaning that they're shaped by experience. When you experience trauma, especially as a child, your brain's alarm system, the amygdala, becomes hypersensitive. It's always scanning for danger, even when you're safe. And the part of your brain responsible for logic and calming down, the prefrontal cortex, it gets overridden by that alarm system. This is why trauma reactions aren't logical. You can know something's safe, but still feel on edge. Your body remembers even when your mind forgets. All right, let's talk about healing. Because you don't have to stay stuck in these patterns. You can't rewrite the past, but you can rewrite the story you tell yourself about it. Here are 6 powerful steps to get started. First, recognize the patterns. Awareness is the first step. Start noticing when you feel triggered. Is it when someone criticizes you, when you feel ignored, or maybe when conflict arises? Ask yourself, is this about the present, or is an old wound being reopened? When you name what's happening, you reduce its power. Challenge your inner critic. Next time that harsh inner voice shows up, pause. Ask, whose voice is this? Is it yours, or is it the voice of someone from your past? Write down what the critic says, then write a compassionate response as if you were talking to a friend. Set boundaries without guilt. If you were raised to put others first, boundaries can feel selfish, but they're not. They're healthy. Start small. Maybe it's saying no to a request that drains you. Maybe it's asking for what you need in a relationship. And when guilt shows up, remind yourself setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. Practice self-compassion. This one's huge. Talk to yourself kindly. If you make a mistake, respond like you would to a loved one. It's okay, you're human, you're learning. Research shows that self-compassion reduces anxiety and depression and builds resilience. Reparent yourself. This is about giving yourself what you didn't get as a child. Did you need more encouragement? Give it to yourself. Did you need permission to rest? Give yourself that grace. Maybe write a letter to your younger self. Tell them what they needed to hear back then. Seek professional support. There's no shame in getting help. Therapists, counselors, support groups, they can help you process the past and create new patterns. If therapy feels intimidating, start with books or podcasts. Friend, if you take one thing from this video, let it be this: you're not broken. The fact that you've survived what you have, that you're even here watching this, seeking growth, that's a sign of your strength. Yes, childhood trauma can follow us, but with awareness, compassion, and action, we can break the cycle. Drop a comment below. What resonated most with you today? And if you want to keep exploring these conversations, subscribe. We're building a community here where healing and growth are always welcome. You deserve love. You deserve peace. You deserve to heal. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next